That's right, Candy Treats come back with a top 8 regional finish. Make sure the 34% of you that have not smashed the living crap out of that subscribe button, please smash it so we can climb up the 100K ladder here. So your breakdown for the Serbia regional, I know, right? You're probably like, Robbie, why are you even talking about this? Well, the rogue category was actually really nice. I actually wanted to cover this because, honestly, what caught my attention was Crystal Beast, which I don't even get to talk about the Crystal Beast deck list for this event because not a single person that I could get in contact with for this regional had any sort of contact or way to get to the Crystal Beast players. So unfortunately, I don't have that list for you today. Now, what we do have is more tier all. I mean, 50% of your regional top cut was tier. So the one person's going to comment, yep, tier 1 the event, time to discredit it all. No, it's important to look at these lists to see what did get the chance to keep up with tier. All right, whether or not you like to see it or not, there's a decent amount of rogue here. There's not a single sprite player anywhere to be seen, but you know, there was a decent amount of other decks in the room to keep up with this, so I think that's very important to analyze and look at. Now, we had one Floowandereeze player that shouldn't surprise anybody to see that Flunder still kind of keeping up with the meta and so forth. We had, now this is where I cared about this event, the one Crystal Beast player, which, like I said, I wish I knew a lot about the deck, but I'm pretty sure it's probably Conclave control. We also had the Candy Treats here. Now, I've been requested by the Duelist to leave a link down below to their YouTube channel so that you guys can check it out. And I'm sure you Candy Treat players out there that are watching this video are going to want to peek inside the Duelist mind to possibly see some of those combo lines that was going on there. So, and we also had a Draco Slayer list make it into top cut as well. We've seen Draco Slayer do relatively well on the regional grind, but not so much on the necessary, you know, turnover for top cut for bigger events. But I think that's fine. Still seeing the chance for, you know, the differences in metagame is fine. Now let's pass on over to those top deck lists. All right, the first list we have here is first place out of the event is Tier. Now, are you surprised to see this? You really shouldn't be. Tier has pretty much been one of the most annoying decks in the room for players to deal with at this point in time. We've definitely seen Necroworld Banshee with the Zombie Worlds has become an absolute mainstay in this deck. I mean, honestly, you shouldn't be surprised just to kind of see the absolute power that this is giving you. We also are main decking 2 Solic and then side decking the 1 Crime. You can make an argument that some builds will make the push for 1/1 in the main, but I think citing the Crime has become more acceptable at this point. Let's see here. What else is kind of interesting here? We are playing the 1 Agito. Honestly, so many people dislike Agito at this point in their life. It's kind of hilarious to me. So the fact that, you know, people are still like, we'll go with it. We're also only playing 2 of each Bysteel here. Just 2 Jerusalem with the 1 Magna Hut, and then we're citing the 1 more of each of these. So you can bring your Bysteel package up to a count of 6, really depending on your matchup. Also, did I mention that we're citing Mischief of the Gnomes here? I actually kind of think that this is kind of cute. Imagine that you pull this off against your opponent. Now your opponent cannot play the game because you've literally damaged them to the point of what are we supposed to do? Yeah, this is actually a very hilarious method of ruining a possibly a Sprite player's day. Imagine. And next up is Floowandereeze. Shout out to Evenly Matched, man. Let me tell you, every Flunder deck I have seen as of late has been focusing more and more on the fact that Evenly Matched is going to be one of the equalizer cards that they kind of need to play. Unfortunately, you know, after the loss of Mystic Mine and, you know, this deck kind of picking itself up off of the floor crying, it needed, you know, new ways to kind of innovate itself and become relevant again. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Evenly is just kind of one of more of those clutch cards, in my personal opinion. I also see that we are still citing the Featherstorms. This card is absolutely the bonkers in this deck. Do not, I say this very, very strongly, do not underestimate watching a Featherstorm resolve. I also see that we are citing Trap Trick here, so technically you will have 5 copies of Evenly or 5 copies of Featherstorm that you can actually floodgate your opponent out of so that you can continue to play play the game. It's actually kind of interesting. As for the rest of the ratios, 1 Stormwind I feel like feels more normal now. We're playing 1 Apex Levion with the 1 Ryza with the 2 copies of this. I guess the only other weird things that you might consider a little bit out of place, or maybe the fact that we're playing double Lightning Storm here in the main. Obviously Dark Rulers can cancel out some boards, but I do like a lot of the extra ratios for this build, because it definitely puts a different little spin on this deck. So good stuff to see Floowandereeze out here once again, kind of keeping up with the competition. All right, next up here is another tier list. Holy moly. Now this is more of my level of ignorance, where you just slap in all of the Agitos and you're like, we're good to go, duelist. Of course, the 1 Herald, and then of course we're playing 1 Diviner. I also like the fact that Reno Heart here is pretty. A lot of builds are going to the 2 of at this point in time. They don't want to deal with it, and that's perfectly fine. I understand at the end of the day that, you know, while Reno Heart is still a very good card, it does feel like it could be a better card at some points. Scatter Shots for time. Double Necro Banshee with double Zombie World is good. Outside of the rest of this deck, yeah, we're main decking 1 Heartbeat, actually. That's kind of interesting to know. Heartbeat comes and goes, I feel like, at this point in time, which is not a bad thing. Yeah, there really is not much else to really consider or talk about with this. You gotta love how, I guess, 1 Crime, 1 Solic, no extra Solic in the side. Next up here is our Draco Slayer list. Now, I love all of the little iterations and things that we've been seeing with this. And one cute little thing that I've noticed with these builds is the monkey board has become more or less a staple in the TCG version of the deck, because, I mean, who really cares if your pendulum scale really gets modified? You really care about the fact that you can add a level 4 lore, perform a POW monster from your deck to your hand. You can technically toggle for this, just the fact that you get some little stupid interactions here to, you know, get to this little mini package through this is really, really cute at the end of the day. They've done very well here, in my personal opinion, at giving the Pendulum deck a little bit more oomph. And of course, your extra field spell of choice for this build is going to be the Seeker Village. Honestly, ending on like a full board and then plopping, this sounds pretty good. Now, we're also playing the Laughing Poffin. What in the world? If a face-up spell and trap card is on the field, you special summon this card from your hand. You contribute 1 Wing Beast monster, and then target 1 face-up spell and trap card on the field. Return that face-up card to the hand. But for the rest of this turn, you cannot activate cards or effects of cards with the same name as that card. This is a quick effect of all monsters you currently control or Wing Beast. The only thing you care about here is if a face-up spell and trap is on the field. So you can get the ability to special summon this. This is so cute. Oh, man, you gotta love Draco Slayer innovations. Next up here is more... yeah, more Ishizu here. Little things about this list. We're playing 7 Bystials. Holy crap. We are not... Oh, there's our Agito. I was wondering where he was. It's just not a fancy day without an Agito in the deck. We're also main decking double Fenrir, which is kind of cool. This does pressure the opponent in some really nice ways. We are main decking double Scream, and then we are main decking double Reno. So once again, like I said in the beginning, or in some of these other tier lists here, that, you know, cutting back on the Reno definitely kind of gives you a little bit more room to kind of discover and how else, or put in some different card choices. And then we're main decking double Solic, Citing the Crime. And then we are playing Dark Hole in the side deck. Holy moly. I don't know who annoyed this duelist to the fact that they had to go rely on good old RNG Dark Hole, but you know what? Okay. That's actually pretty cool to see here. And then we also have dun, 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 the Metal Shay list. The saddest part about this whole deck is the fact that, you know, now the Herald's at 1, this deck lost one of the best real hand traps that it had going for it. So we are going to be relying on the Vernal Sift package here. This has pretty much kind of become the main way to play this deck. Of course, I mean, you're playing double Keldo with 1 Mudora. Unfortunately, with the way the format is, you kind of are forced to play these because you need these, you know, particular Earth shovel back targets to pressure the opponent. If you do not have, you know, responses to the opponent, it's going to be a bad day. I also like the fact we're playing the 1 copy of the Stray Trap Hole, just so you can make the Rafflesia here. The fact that this deck actually gets away with making Rafflesia is hilarious at the end of the day. Of course, we're citing a Seeker Village. Seeker Village has gained a lot of popularity as of late, just kind of as like a little rogue buster card to kind of mess up some players' days. But I'm very impressed. I really am. So this completes the Serbia regional breakdown. So please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here at the end of the day, guys. You guys have a good rest of your day and stay safe out there, all right? Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.